All right, really excited to be joined by the presumptive number one pick in Thursday's first round of the 2020 NFL Draft, the Heisman Trophy winner, Joe Burrow from LSU, and Louisiana's favorite son at this point after that national championship. Joe, thank you for joining us, man. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing really well. How have you been keeping yourself busy? I know that's kind of the first question all of us are asking each other across the landscape. So you're no different. What have you been doing the last month?
Well, obviously working out and throwing, but that only goes for about 3 or 4 hours. So then, you got to find time to, watch The Office, watch some Law and Order, play some video games. So, watch old 30 for 30s. So I'm keeping busy on the couch.
So which 30 for 30 is your favorite?
So I watched the Tyson and Ali one, or the Tyson and Holyfield one. That one was really, really good. Watched the one with Penny and Shaq. Watched the U part 2. I mean, I've watched all of them.
You know what I can't wait for is there's going to be somewhere. What if I told you a backup from Ohio State would have the greatest season in college football history as a Tiger? That's the one I'm waiting for because that's what just happened last fall. Listen, you had a phenomenal season, and yet, your career took an interesting road to get to where you were. So you had probably countless lessons throughout your life, whether it was via competitiveness or leadership. But the leadership aspect is most important to me, at least with where we're at right now, because you're about to go into an NFL locker room. You just went into a locker room a couple of years ago as a brand new quarterback, the presumptive starter, when you transferred from Ohio State to LSU. What are some of the lessons that you learned as a leader during that time that you feel like is going to help you now moving into the NFL?
Yeah, I think, more so than most people, I got practice at coming in a new guy as an older guy.
Mm-hmm.
And earning the respect of that team very, very quickly. I think Jalen Hurts has some practice with it too, and I think it's kind of underappreciated how difficult it is to win teams over that quickly. But I think the way to do it is just with hard work, and it sounds cheesy, but that's really what it boils down to is working harder than everyone else in the country to show that team that you're doing what it takes to win football games.
And win football games is exactly what you were able to do. 25 of those wins in the 2 years that you were the starter for the LSU Tigers. I'm sure a lot of coaches, and I know you're not flying all over the country to actually meet with these GMs and coaches in person, but I'm sure that you've had several conversations, whether it's via Zoom or whether it was at the Combine. So I want to put us in that setting for a second. Imagine I'm a decision maker in the NFL, and I ask you, Joe Burrow, what's your best attribute as a quarterback, and what's the attribute that you most want to work on?
I think my best attribute is my accuracy outside the pocket and within the pocket. A lot of questions that I got at the Combine were, what was the difference between your junior year and your senior year, because they're kind of opposite ends of the spectrum. I told them that I worked really, really hard on, off-platform situations, scrambling outside the pocket and still finding completions, because the position of quarterback is all just about finding completions. If you find completions, you're going to get first downs, and first downs lead to points, field goals, or touchdowns. So any way that you can find completions, you're going to be successful. And, we worked really, really hard on, creating outside of the structure of the offense. And then my worst attribute, I would say, I don't have the cannon arm like, some guys, but I think there's been a lot of really successful quarterbacks in the league without the arm like an Aaron Rodgers. And you make up for it with preparation and timing and accuracy and really understanding, the routes that your guys are running.
It's got to be interesting for you to be in this position, right? Because I think about your career, and I know that Nebraska is a place you wanted to play at, after high school. It didn't work out. You ended up at Ohio State. I know that sounds crazy, but you're at Ohio State behind some incredible players, Big Ten players of the year, and didn't get a chance to start there. Lost out in a battle to Dwayne Haskins. You got to transfer to LSU. By your admission, your junior year maybe wasn't what you wanted it to be at LSU, but then all of a sudden it pops and it works out. And so you've had to fight for where you're at. And now all of a sudden you're sitting there and you're almost the anointed one, the Heisman Trophy winner, the national championship quarterback, the presumptive #1 pick in the NFL draft. Is it odd for you to feel this situation that you're in, knowing that what has made you successful in large part is being that fighter?
Yeah, but the thing to me is, this, being the anointed one or the #1 overall pick, that's a snapshot of my career.
Hmm.
And, the career that nobody saw was the getting beaten out, the not winning the starting job, the not being recruited. Everyone just sees this, last 8 months when, I started balling. And, nobody sees the hard work that goes into it and the disappointments and the failures behind it. So that's really, what's inside of me. I still remember all the, the slights and the doubts. So that's not what keeps me going, because what drives me is being the best, but it's part of it.
Your competitive nature is obvious. The way you played, anytime that I've been around you, and I was around you even when you were back at Ohio State. Something tells me that, listen, you're going to take it however it came. And yeah, it's great to beat the defending national champions. How much did you want to crack at your old teammates? Did you want to play Ohio State?
I mean, the answer to that. Everyone that knows me knows the answer to that. It would have been a lot of fun, and I think there would have been some trash talk on the field too.
There's no doubt about that. And by the way, on Thursday night, it might be a little bit of a reunion in those top 3 picks potentially, depending on what Detroit does. Obviously, everyone expects your name to come off the board first, and then your former teammate Chase Young to come off the board second. Do you remember facing him in practice, and what stood out to you about Chase Young's game?
Yeah, he was running with the twos like I was when I was there. They had Nick Bosa, Sam Hubbard, Tyquan Lewis, Jalen Holmes, all those DNs when he came in. So he was terrorizing backup tackles with me back there at quarterback when I was there.
I can't imagine there was a lot of time to throw with the two offensive line against.
You learn to get the ball out of your hands quick when you're facing him.
There you go. Iron sharpens iron. Hey, you're joining us in large part due to an amazing partnership that you have with Lowe's. You've partnered with them during this week, and you had this really cool experience where you got to call some of the personnel in your hometown store of Athens, Ohio, and talk with some of those associates at Lowe's that have really stepped up for their community during this time. How was that experience for you?
It was awesome, and it brightened my day when I was able to talk to some of those employees. Any time that I can give back to the community that gave so much to me, I'm going to jump on that opportunity. And so when Lowe's came to me with this partnership, I was super excited to talk with these people that are so committed to their job during this pandemic and this quarantine that they're staying with it and hanging in there. It was awesome to talk to them, and I just wanted to brighten their day a little bit, and was able to invite them and their families to one of my games this year. And it was awesome to see the look on their face when I was able to tell them that, and they provided me with some great stories of them watching me with their families on TV and in high school. And it was great to be able to bring some light into their day when they're so committed to their job.
Well, you brought a lot of light into a lot of our days just watching you play last year and that incredible season. Good luck moving forward. If I might be so bold as a little piece of advice, Joe, and I know you'll take this to heart and know it in your heart, but this is not the finish line. It is only the starting line for you. And if you approach it that way, you're going to have a long career, my man. Thank you so much for your time. You've been very generous with us. We appreciate it. Best of luck with your new organization, and congratulations on what's about to happen to you.
I appreciate it, Joel. Thank you.
You got it. See you, bud.
Yep.
For the best NFL coverage anywhere on the internet, follow NFL on Fox, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube.